Now I want to tell you another story, dear children, and it is about war. For 14 years, the Indian militants were encamped along our southern borders, fighting men, 3,000 strong. 14 years. And His Majesty, the fourth king, the great fourth, tried every means to get them to leave our country. Our security was at risk, but they refused to leave. The Indian militants, but they were fighting for many causes. They wanted independence from India, and they were fighting with the Indians and coming back for safety into the camps in our country. So finally, after 14 years, when all measures to make them leave failed, His Majesty, the Great Fourth, led his men, 3,000 men, to get the militants to leave our country. Our national security was at great risk. And now, when His Majesty went to lead the operations, he led like a hero, a fearless general, a true hero, because he led in the front. Now, when one goes to war, I think, dear children, all of you will understand what war means. It is, you put your life at risk. So His Majesty went, led his men, and was victorious. In a very short while, His Majesty was victorious. And when His Majesty returned home after the great victory, he came in without telling anybody when he was coming. He did not want a hero's welcome, that all of us here in Thimphu, led by the government and the people's aspirations, to line up the streets to hail him as a hero who had gone to war, won it, led the war in the front, ready to sacrifice his life for the security of our nation. But His Majesty did not want that. He did not want a hero's welcome, because he said he was only doing his duty. And in war, nobody must celebrate loss of life. So this is a kind of king His Majesty Jigme Singh Wangchuck was, is. And these are one of the few reasons why he is known as the Great forth. So for a young king, a 16-year-old king, and so dashingly handsome, he was then the youngest king in the world. And probably, I must say, I think not probably, but he was the best looking king. Best looking king. Dashing, young. He spent all his youth
슌기 콩을 같이 배고 가네 배고미 다네보다 가네 마베데라 배로 당아자 자자불로 공기 천차잡이 고tuk 메시다비 대체 MBC기 순족 제 자자기 순족 단지변이 제가디 인가 개표올레된데 니고 법이 마야 팀부대들로 미세소 답되어 맞았던 제기 소로 견전이 같은 걸로 니셈과 사게타라 비비에서 당한 땅이 오메 거래
4. The progress, peace, prosperity of Bhutan. He brought Bhutan from where we hardly had anything to great progress in every field, in every field. Dear children, we must put our hands together. I put my hands together to say thank you to His Majesty the Great Fourth for what He's done for this nation. Like I said earlier, I have lived with His Majesty since we were both 19 years old. I have seen how he worked. It was always putting the country and the people first. He put his country above his family. He put his country above even himself. He put his country above everything else, his country and his people. The fruits of his work, we all are the beneficiaries. His Majesty now is the conscience of the land. His Majesty, the fifth king, in his speech on a national day, said that there was never a king, a great king, like Jimmy Singh Wangchuck in the past, and there never will be another king, a great king, like Jimmy Singh Wangchuck in the future. His Majesty said that, and I think that sums it all up. But we all know, your king, Jigme Kisan Nambiel Wangchuck, is a great king. He is preparing the nation to a greater, grander future, working 24/7 to take us to a prosperous future, ensuring that Bhutan shines. A little country shines as the brightest star. His Majesty, your King, Jigme Kisa Namgyel Wangchuck is doing his father, the great fourth, proud. And he is on his way to becoming a great, great king, making his father the great fourth content and proud. Now, dear children of Bhutan, let us put our hands together again and pray for the long life, happiness, great health, good health for His Majesty, the Great Fourth, and His Holiness Azhi Khenpo, and be very, very, very grateful for their service to Bhutan. Now, His Majesty, the Great Fourth, Père Jimmy Singhi Wangchuck, is a grandfather of 19 grandchildren. The softer side, a great, compassionate, loving grandfather who enjoys the company of his grandchildren, who instills the right values in his 19 grandchildren, who love him, respect him so very greatly. His Majesty also looks after the health of so many, in fact, numbering in the thousands. His Majesty meets people as he goes on his walks, and he sees individuals taking their walks, and he can immediately diagnose if something is wrong with the health of that person. Then His Majesty immediately takes care of their health needs. His Majesty sends them to the doctors and then refers them to where they can be treated for their illnesses. His Majesty is a compassionate, roving, I would say, doctor. And many, many, thousands have better health now because of His Majesty's compassion. And one thing I want to share with you also, dear children, is this. Before His Majesty retired, His Majesty told my sisters and I that it would be nice, it would be good if we, after His Majesty retired, that we could look after different aspects of the needs of our people. And because of His Majesty's advice, I started the Tarayana Foundation, and which looks after the welfare, upliftment of our rural people. Her Majesty Gyalum Ajit Seringpem looks after the youth of Bhutan, the youth and their welfare, their problems. Her Majesty Gyalum Ajit Sering Wangchuck2 looks after and is very passionate about looking after our cultural, historical heritage and the nuns of our country. Her Majesty Gyalum Ajit Wangchuck2 looks after the women and the problems that they face, and also looks after the textiles in the form of the textile museum and making it into a living museum. So we are grateful to His Majesty for his advice. So we were able to serve in our different capacities because of His Majesty's vision and compassion. Dear children, the future of Bhutan, I just want to tell you that all roads lead back to the Great Fourth, Jigme Singh Wangchuck. He set the foundations that I already shared with you. At 16, he became king. He thought of making our country self-reliant. Very important. Self-reliant. He thought of protecting our environment for all time to come, keeping our country green and healthy. He thought of keeping a cultural identity unique and strong in form of our national dress, our national language, our spirituality, and everything that makes us Bhutanese. He brought about the constitution of the country. He's a king, all-powerful king. He gives up his total power to elected leaders. He thinks about, thought about the happiness of the country and the Bhutanese, the contentment of the Bhutanese people. And now the GNH, it's so famous all over the world. All over the world. They're so fascinated. And they keep saying, even when I go abroad once in a while, they say, where are you from? And I say, I'm from Bhutan. Then they say, are you from the land of happiness? And to that I say, yes. Yes, we strive to be happy. because that was put into our consciousness by the great fourth. And then, in this day and age, can you think of a king leading his men, leading at the front to fight a war? It's only Jimmy Singh Wangchuck. I could go on and on and on. There are so many more to tell you. Let us all put our hands together in gratitude to this King of Destiny, the Great Fourth. Let us all pray for his long life. We have received so much from his reign, from his wisdom, from his sacrifice. And now, Bhutan is a country that is coming into the light. Everybody is interested in Bhutan. They admire our environment. They admire our culture, our way of life. They admire our governance. They admire so much about Bhutan. And they admire their king, your king, my king, Jigme Kisanamge Wangchuck, His Majesty, the fifth, the great fifth. Jimmy Singh Wangchuck, the great fourth, King of Destiny. And now, his son is creating a greater destiny for Bhutan. Dear children, we should all be so very proud to be Bhutanese, to be born in this blessed land. Never take that for granted. Be the best versions of yourself. Be good Bhutanese. I wish each and every one of you true contentment, success in your lives, peace and progress, and great futures. I love you, children. I thank you. Tashtile.